The Mercedes Formula One team. They make competitive cars, really good engines, and of course, they had Britain's favorite Sir Lewis Hamilton as their driver for the majority of his career, who is now driving for Ferrari. A team like that is bound to have infighting between drivers shown in the past. To become the prioritized driver, and we will go through modern Mercedes history of the drivers and their time together as teammates. We will begin with Nico Rosberg, an aspiring upstart and son of a former world champion, Keke Rosberg. Bernie Ecclestone wants him on the grid, and Frank Williams wants him on his team. McLaren has even made an offer to have him replace Fernando Alonso after Alonso left McLaren and become a teammate with a rookie, which Frank Williams promptly rejected. Rosberg's race record prior to joining Mercedes was decent. Dozens of points finishes and one podium, which is pretty impressive considering who his opponents were. His move from Williams were met with optimism, being a German driver for a German team. Being fairly experienced, he could take on any drivers that Mercedes might sign. Excited for what's coming, then his team principal Rosberg just rang up and goes, "Oh yeah, your teammate's not gonna be Button or Heifeld. It'll be Michael Schumacher." Now Schumacher is also a German himself. He is more experienced and he's more knowledgeable. The boss is one of his longtime supporters, and he's the only 7 times world champion to date, which means he is essentially everything Rosberg is, and more. Though despite the lineup, there aren't much on-track drama between them. Hell, Rosberg even beats him in championship points during their time together. They didn't have any conflicts or battles on the track, mainly just off-track mind games where Schumacher messes with Rosberg to get in his head, like him walking around topless, full six-packs out to show his dominance, Michael and Webber pranking Rosberg during a hearing, and him just sitting in the toilet for 5 minutes during qualifying to stress him out. But at the end of the day, there weren't any bad blood between them, and Michael retired after spending 2 years with Mercedes. Rosberg himself learned a lot throughout his time with Schumacher and later employed tactics similar to his, but since Michael has retired, Mercedes has to find Rosberg a new teammate, and if you remember that rookie bike at McLaren, Mercedes brought him over. His name is Lewis Hamilton. He is Rosberg's longtime friend and has established himself and even got his first world title in 2008, becoming the youngest world champion at the time. Now Hamilton is his close friend. It was their dream to become teammates in Formula One, but Rosberg has his work cut out for him because Hamilton beat him and won 2 consecutive titles in 2014 and 15 after Mercedes made a rocket ship, and Rosberg did not take 2015 well after Hamilton forced him out wide into turn 1 at Coda, though their friendship is already shaky at this point. The following races, Rosberg was on fire against Hamilton, pulling out all of the stops, winning the first 4 races of 2016, making it 7 consecutive wins since Coda. Now into the Spanish Grand Prix. The weekend started out normally. Hamilton got pole and Rosberg came second, making a Mercedes front row lockdown, followed by 2 Red Bulls, notably 18 years old Max Verstappen in car number 33. The race started, Nico got around Hamilton into turn 1 and Hamilton tried to take his position back through turn 3. Which they collided and took each other out of the race, resulting in a Mercedes double DNF. After the race, they were arguing over who's at fault, at which Niki Lauda himself came out and put the majority of the blame on Hamilton, saying,
"And I said, if I have to choose between the two, it's more Lewis's fault than Nico's fault." And then I asked Lewis to come down to Ibiza to speak to me personally, which he certainly did. And then I said to Lewis, that red light flashing on the back of the cars today means that you do not have full power because the battery pack is not putting electricity in the engine. When that light flashes, you know you have 150 horsepower less. Therefore, we have this light installed, all the cars. And I said to Lewis, when you followed him, did you see the red light flashing? Sure I did. Why did you go on the inside? You know he has 150 horsepower less. Why didn't you pass him easy on the outside?
Now if you paid attention to the 2 Red Bulls that qualified behind them on the weekend, cars number 33 made the most of it and he got his first win at that race, making him the youngest Grand Prix winner to this day. If you remember when I said Rosberg used everything he could, he did that and put in more. He hired a performance therapist to keep track of his mental state, making sure that the Nico Rosberg on the race weekend is in the best state he could be. Monitoring every small details of his life to min-max his performance, he cuts his weight, taking it into extreme lengths, like giving up on cycling because he was gaining muscles, thus gaining weight, wearing black helmets because they're not painted, cutting holes in his seats, shortening his socks, making every single grams count. But it doesn't stop here. Remember Michael Schumacher? Well, of course anyone would. His antics from those 2 years they spent together, Rosberg has taken those and brought the mind games to Hamilton. Small daily inconveniences and imposing potential insecurities to chip away at the reigning champion. Every trick in his book, just so he could take a shot against his childhood sweetheart. Now even with Rosberg giving it his all, Hamilton went on to win Monaco and Canada after Spain. He was on track to win at Baku, but thanks to a mechanical issue, Rosberg managed to take the win. At the Austrian Grand Prix, Rosberg was leading, but a brake issue came up, and Hamilton caught up to him on the last lap. They battled a bit, and Rosberg collided with his teammate, losing his front wing and dropped to 4th place. Lauda put the blame on Rosberg this time, and the team boss Toto Wolff later threatened them with team orders in future races. There are no further incidents afterwards. Hamilton went on to take his win at Silverstone, because of course he did. The trophies in Hungary and Hockenheim also rest in his display case after the following Grand Prix. Rosberg made a comeback and took his win in Spa, Monza and Singapore, nipping his last win in Japan. Hamilton, with his DNF in Malaysia, is now the one to chase Rosberg in the championship fight, taking 3 consecutive wins in Texas, Mexico and Brazil, bringing the fight to the season finale, held in Abu Dhabi. The finale came. Rosberg is leading the championship, with Hamilton qualified on pole. The race went on smoothly until Red Bull caught on to Mercedes not wanting Rosberg to take any risk and had Verstappen hold out as long as possible to do a one-stop strategy. Rosberg later had to take the risk of overtaking a rookie crash-prone Max Verstappen, which he actually pulled off, safely so in lap 20, smooth sailing once again until Hamilton took the lead on lap 37 after Vettel pitted. He started going slowly, backing up Rosberg to let the pack catch up and potentially overtake Rosberg because Hamilton could only win the championship if Rosberg placed outside of the podium. It was a close fight with Rosberg coming out as 2nd place, netting him his first world title, taken from the future 7 times world champion, currently 3 times, and also the reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton, on equal machinery and retired 5 days after doing so. On a side note, Mercedes completely dominated with only 2 wins taken from them by both Red Bull drivers, Verstappen at Barcelona and Ricciardo at Sepang. Following Rosberg's retirement, the team structure in Mercedes seems to have been more well defined, so team fighting is pretty much gone. So in hindsight, I should just made this a Rosberg video.